Chloe wanted to talk about this video, which is unseen footage showing the Secret Service and State Police scrambling as there was no apparent contingency plan to get the reactionary squad through the fence. Total failure. So let's have a so incompetent. The worst part is that car trying to ram the fence in order for them all to get through. The contingency plans that you have to make in an eventuality such as that have to be thorough, right? Because he's the former president. He's someone who many on the hard radical left would love nothing more than to murder, as of course was attempted on Saturday night. And the Secret Service failed completely. They took their eyes off of the ball. I mean, there are loads of conspiracy theories running about saying, why did this happen? Could it really just be negligence, incompetence? I would like to think it is more cock-up than conspiracy. Cock-up on a major level. He was not even inches. He must have been centimetres away from death. And Chloe, you have been documenting the reaction to all of this. You have had millions of views on Reasoned for everything you've been posting. And well done, by the way. But I wonder what you thought of that footage, because it does just seem, with every trickle of information we get, to seem far, far worse than we could ever have imagined.
Yeah, I mean, look, I have to say I'm on the fence as to whether it is sheer incompetency or if it's an inside job. We're seeing lots of evidence on this on different sides. This video is suggesting that it is just a major screw up and incompetency. And I am just baffled as to how disorganized they were. So they didn't have a plan how to get through these fences if something happened. Now, they would have known that if a shooter, obviously that is one of the biggest threats that they would have thought about in their planning, where they would probably position themselves on a roof, hidden on that slant, is a very most expected place for them to be. So they should have thought of that. They would have gone in before, they would have surveyed the area and had plans in place for everything that could go wrong. But even if, right, this happened and they saw the shooter and they genuinely were responding, as opposed to some of the other reports we have that people were telling the police and they weren't bothering and they were just ignoring, right? If they were trying to respond but they couldn't get to him, Trump should have been taken off stage immediately the moment they saw a shooter was there. If they couldn't get to the shooter, they had to remove Trump. The fact that they left Trump on stage is extremely concerning. And whether that was on purpose or whether that was a mess up, I don't know, but something is seriously wrong here. We also saw feminism basically die overnight as they saw the way that female Secret Service employees reacted. Not bothering to shield Trump, hiding away behind, not doing their job, or not being tall enough to cover him. So that was quite interesting. We saw the DEI arguments sort of go down the drain overnight.
Yeah, Alex, what did you make of it all?
Yeah, it was really shocking. I was actually, before the whole thing kicked off, I actually started watching the beginning of that event with Trump, and I turned it off stupidly. I mean, I wish I hadn't now, halfway through, because it was pretty late here. And then I started getting the notifications rolling through about Trump's been shot, and I couldn't believe it. When I watched the footage, I genuinely couldn't believe it. I thought he was dead when he went down. Because there was multiple shots, and it was just absolutely mind-blowing. Sorry, excuse the pun if there is one there. To see that footage, and you know there's a lot of people responsible for this. It's not just down to one deranged person. Conspiracy or not, all we know is that there's more than likely just to be one deranged young man. But there's more than one person responsible here, and immediately my thoughts just went straight to the vitriol that's been coming out of the leftists and the mainstream media that is now dominated by these far left and hard left individuals who have basically been calling for his death for years. There's comedians calling for Donald Trump to be assassinated, actors holding up beheaded Joe Brand.
Kathy Griffin had the head,
Yeah, all this stuff is going to inspire someone. And when you've got the president of the United States, which Joe Biden is, and he's going around saying this man is a fascist, he's a threat to democracy, and that this is what's coming out of his mouth, this was inevitable. And, Tucker Carlson is going to go down as some sort of Nostradamus at this point because he called it out months and months ago. And the mainstream media, what did they do? They called him a far-right conspiracy theorist. And he said that there's a plot to assassinate Trump is getting thicker. And, the whole temperature in America is high. It's getting worse over here as well. And that, unfortunately, is down to unhinged comments coming out of the mainstream media.
Yeah, we're just being reminded. Michelle clearly hasn't seen my beautiful video that I put out earlier because she says James O'Brien said the same. Before, I think it was before, wasn't it?
It was. It's an old video of James O'Brien. He's saying that trying to be funny, saying that someone should shoot Trump. And then he goes, "Oh, not quite literally. I didn't mean it like that." And then he goes on to repeat the same original comment about Trump being shot. These people are wrong. They're sick in the head. And just imagine if this was Joe Biden that was shot. Put the shoe on the other foot for a second. How insane the mainstream media would be about Trump and about his MAGA followers and all this nonsense. You really just can't write it, can you? You really can't. The whole thing is sort of a black comedy.
And
I
there's
don't think
one
you can
thing
say
that
that
I
anymore,
was
Alex.
one thing that I would
I'll
say
keep saying it, Darren.
Yesterday was that there are certain people in history who, most of us have agreed, yes, it's a good idea to kill them, like people, Osama bin Laden, Saddam Hussein, Hitler, etc., right? And so you can understand when people paint Trump out to be an evil, racist, fascist who wants to, people probably say he wants to murder migrants and murder trans people and all of this stuff people come up with on the internet. Of course, don't be surprised when people come to the conclusion that this is a man that needs to be assassinated, if that's how you're going to paint him to be.
Yeah. I mean, it's so wrong.
Chloe.
This sort of the horrible hyperbole has just gone too far. No one ever on the right, I don't see people on the right saying that President Biden needs to be taken out. Why is it so laissez-faire when it comes to President Trump? It's the Roger Scruton famously said that the difference between the left and the right is that the right think the left are misguided and wrong politically. The left think that the right are evil. That's the discrepancy there. And
it's so funny that there's this really hilarious black comedian, and he said Donald Trump's got real life-threatening enemies. Joe Biden's biggest threat to his life is a bunch of stairs. It's like this is true. This is literally true. And look back in the history of all the presidents that have been assassinated, apart from JFK, they've all been Republican or right wing.
And John on YouTube says the fence around Trump was apparently more resilient than Biden's fence around the Mexican border, which I think is quite a good one.
That's great.
And,
I might steal that.
Yeah, Lone Warrior says Trump dodged a bullet. Biden can't even manage the stairs. Damn right. But I do like this FBI DEI hire. I wonder how many are going to be going as her for Halloween this year. They'll probably have to, roll around on the floor.
Also, I think if you scroll through Will's story, there's one about a meme about Temu.
Oh.
Wait, this one,
yeah.
When you order a pillow on Temu.
For those that don't know, Temu is like a cheap Chinese, like an
Amazon.
Amazon, isn't it? Yeah.
And everything you order does not appear as it did online.
Can I just say this on the Trump ear thing as well? This bandage on his ear, because the left have moved on now from Trump being shot, and they've completely just forgotten about it, and now they're completely mocking him for his bandage, which, you know, he's had professionals do. It's not like he's chucked it on there. You've got Mark Hamill, who plays Luke Skywalker, laughing at Trump. He's such a weird loser. And, you know, there's one fake tweet got put out saying that Trump was on a golf course the morning after he was shot, and then back at the RNC with his bandage on. That's a fake image. It was taken like 4 years ago, and they all seem to be spouting the same nonsense. This is how brain dead they actually are, is that they can't even read the community note on Twitter and be educated by it, and then they're all pushing this nonsense out. It really, you know, only the left could get away with it. This is how they have penetrated our media and our way of life, that they get away with saying so much now. If this was anyone on the right wing, they'd be cancelled on off air in minutes.
Have you got what it takes to be a reasoned presenter? Well, send us a short clip of yourself to join@reasoned.uk, and we might be seeing you on this very channel very soon indeed.